Okay, moving on. We also set up the Office of the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. I'm sorry. There was no place that we could go for state legislature or any decisions that were being made. If we had any feedback that we wanted to give, there was no place for us to go. Before it was called the Bureau of the Hearing Impaired. I'm not really sure what the name was before that. Oh, it was the Bureau for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, but then it became the Office for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, which is, the acronym is ODHH. We also made it a law that it is required for educational interpreters to have certification to work in a school setting. Just recently, we set up the Sign Language Council. The result of the interpreter licensure passing, that interpreters must follow the code of ethics and have standards, rules that they have to follow, such as how much you can charge, how you're going to be paid. All of that is taken care of in this Sign Language Interpreter Council. Right now, mental health and counseling services are a hot issue. Right now, we have no counselors in Wisconsin for deaf individuals. That means that we rely heavily on interpreters to go. And those are personal issues that we're discussing, and we have to have an outside individual come in. And we are hoping that interpreters are appropriate, and also that interpreters are correctly interpreting what we're saying. It's risky. You could risk that person's safety. They could end up in the hospital if you interpret something wrong. And also, it's very private information that a person is sharing. And the deaf person ends up suffering if there's a misinterpretation. The ADA does say that there has to be, it doesn't say they have to be a certified interpreter, but they have to be a qualified interpreter. Sorry, go to.
So Alabama has the certification program, it's called the Q.
They have a training program there that you can learn more about mental health interpreting and the differences between community interpreting. They have a training, and it's a 2-week program, and while you're there, you take tests, you have a mentor, and then you can interpret in a mental health setting, but really, it's not enough, just 2 weeks. You should have an internship, additional hours of experience, and then you'll have to take a test and pass, and then finally, you would have certification that says that you can interpret in the mental health setting. Wisconsin has a lot of interpreters that have that certification from that training. But now we want to have a law that requires that you have to take the test if you want to do mental health, psychology, interpreting. Same as if you're going to interpret in the courts or a legal setting. You should have to have a special certification, special qualification test. Because we need certified interpreters in the mental health setting. Same as if you're in a legal setting, you should have to have special training, because that's also another risky situation. You have to be a good interpreter in a mental health setting, or in a legal situation, because someone could end up in the hospital or in jail. We really are dependent on good interpreters, qualified interpreters. Right now, we're still working on issues with emergency services. What happens if there's a tornado siren? how do we let deaf individuals know? Do we use text messages? Do we have a light on the phone that comes up? Not a lot of people have a phone. So that's one issue that we are currently working on, is alerting people. Captioning with the news here, as I explained earlier, in Wisconsin, that's a struggle. We don't have captioning services here for the news. There's very limited options for captioning. If you wanna go to a movie, you have one choice. If you think, I wanna go see that new action movie, but that one's not captioned, so I can't go, it's not fair. We're also working on educational programs for the deaf and hard of hearing. Right now, UWM has an ITP program, but we'd like to raise the bar and have more competition in other places and have more programs set up. Just like other majors have different programs, you can choose different schools to go to for that degree. We've seen that,
We don't want the interpreting program quality to plateau, so if we have other interpreting programs, that creates healthy competition and continues to raise the standard.
I'm curious, why did you guys pick UWM to go here for your interpreter training? Is it because there's only one choice? Yeah, really?
Sure.
There is 2 other programs. We have 3 in Wisconsin.
Well, yeah, there's MATC, but that's not a full 4-year degree. Oh, and for UWM,